Are you guys still recording?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, first of all, let's just take a break real quick and try to tell you why we're not live streaming right now. This is supposed to go live, but we were having problems logging in. It said that we weren't authorized to do a live stream on Zoom through YouTube like we have been for months. So there's a sabotage going on everywhere to try to shush us, I guess, try to keep us silent, but that's not going to happen because it just makes us scream louder in the end, you know?
Exactly.
But Charlie will be back on in a second too. They keep messing with his internet service there, so he'll be popping on here in a minute. So it's funny that listening to your story, and because my story was kind of the same as well. I worked in the restaurant business for about 25 years, weekends, nights, missing out on my kids and families' lives, and I remember looking at the boss one day and I said, I was actually an event coordinator at the time, thinking I was doing something good, marrying people. And, but then I started seeing them getting divorces 2 months later. And I'm just like, I looked at him and I said, don't you think there's more to life than this? And he looked at me like I was a crazy nutball. He just looked at me with this blank stare. And, after that, I actually quit. I put my 2 weeks notice in and quit without having anything to fall back on. And within a couple of weeks, I had 3 part-time jobs working the same amount or half the amount of hours, making the same pay, but they were all fulfilling jobs, but they were fun. And it opened up time for me to focus. And I think that's one of the biggest things in the world right now is people are so busy. They're so consumed in that stress and the fight and flight that they don't have time for even like little hobbies, for even time to decompress. They're just constant, they're focusing on drinking or smoking weed or, kind of desensitizing themselves to what's going on instead of paying attention and delving into what really is going on,
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's I tell you, and in today's world, especially, we're finding out just talking to so many people, it's just like you got to break through now. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like almost like enough is enough. And then I think people inherently know when their life's not going as well. So they continue I think a lot of it is really confronting yourself, really confronting your spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people continue the race because they just don't have to deal with the core,
Yeah.
And I
And
think,
how many people are suppressing their emotions and keeping that stuff pent up inside them because we've been taught that makes you stronger, but it doesn't, it makes you weaker. So we need to start focusing on our fear, releasing the fear and focusing on the healing of ourselves. But we're not taught this stuff, so people like you who are out there speaking the truth and sharing the diversity of all the different things that are out there. I mean, it's an all-in-one place for people to go to see what really is out there, so even if you don't have time, if you're living in the fight and flight and you're constantly stressed, just going to your channel and starting to listen 5-10 minutes a day, you're going to learn so much, it's going to help release you and open you up.
Thank you. Jay and I, jokingly, but seriously, we're big advocates. We're huge advocates for people to have their own show. And the reason being is it's free therapy.
Yes.
Seriously, it's because you're forcing yourself to speak, you're forcing yourself to open your throat chakra, and you're understanding different viewpoints when you hear other people's situation, when you're hearing and learning how other people did things and what they're doing. It's truly the best free therapy you could ever ask for. You're releasing it, you're letting it out.
You can have whatever going on in the day. I mean, look, we're a couple, so we get whatever going on in the day that goes along with that, right? So, but we get here, we show up, and boom, whatever was there seems to. It's like
not there anymore.
It's not there. You don't even remember it. You know what I mean? Because you vibrated out. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem as important as this present moment. And the other reason is just, gosh, we really for us, we're finding out that look, the past is the past, right? So it is what it is. The future is, I think my personal view is we can determine it, but this present moment is what people lose sight of. It's this moment, it's this moment, that's the magic. And having these kind of shows, that it forces you in the present. So then your mind, if you take a look at it logically, your mind gets trained on how to stay in the present moment, which is where I believe the magic is. But then now all of a sudden you have all these diversions that keep people out of the present. Wait for it over here, this is coming, that happened back there. You know, it's anything they can do to try to keep you off there. That's really a lot of what we're finding out is, I guess it's the sleight of hand, you know, the what do you call it, false light worker syndrome, if you would, or what's happening there is just keeping you out of this moment.
Yeah, now is the only time life happens, right now, this very exact moment, you know, and most of us are, you know, I know even just me as a parent, you're focused on worrying about your child, not realizing that you're actually manifesting those worries to happen to them, you know, where if that didn't happen, it's in the future, it's just as simple to change that thought into something beneficial. So good is drawn to them instead of the negative, you know, but it's just hard for us because we're not taught any of this stuff. And when we do find people like you and can open that back up and we can tap into our power. I mean, that's how I got my first reading from a medium several years ago, you know, and it just opened up my whole entire world. I got into energy healing. I became a medium after that. I thought you had to be born with those abilities. I didn't realize you could be trained, you know, you could be trained. It's like playing the piano. Some people are better at it than others. And it just opened up my whole entire world and freed me of so many things. You know, before I used to be scared of the dark, and now I feel like there's a team of spiritual protection just walking with me everywhere I go. And it's just so freeing, you know. And my thing though is I see how, you know, the false light workers, I see where people are like, come to me for healing, come to me for this. And I was doing readings and healings for a while, but I quit doing them because people just get obsessed and attached and keep wanting to come back for more and more. I want to teach people that you can do this too. You can do this just like everybody else can. You know, everybody can do it. And we need to start tapping into our powers to manifest the world that we all desire, because we all desire a good outcome.
Of course we
you
do.
know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you hit something right on the head. There are a lot of people that are under the mindset or the belief that they've been chosen. And we hear this over and over and over in the spiritual world. I've been chosen. I'm one of the, whatever the number is, 144,000, 10,000, it doesn't matter, but they've been chosen. And that's just not true. You made the choice. We've all made the choice to come here. Essentially, we've all been chosen. Everybody's been given an option. You know, listen, the best way that I can put it to you like this is here's what I've come with after all the interviews that we've done and all of our own personal stuff that we've worked through. Here's what it's boiled down for me. Okay? Does something make logical sense? That's number one. And does it resonate with you? And if you just break it down to the most, because there's so much stuff flying all over the place, right? So your discernment meter needs to be so super uber tight. But how do you tighten it up? And for me, I just simply asked, does that even make logical sense?
Yeah.
Is that really how universal supreme consciousness works? I don't think so. I think we made the decision, all of us collectively. So we've all been chosen. There's not just a few chosen ones. That's very egotistical.
I mean,
that comes from a very ego-based thought pattern.
I mean, I think that
and
if
this
you're
is really what we're trying to help break people of. Everybody's been chosen.
If you're like a true spiritual leader, I guess in some sense, do you have to say you are? You know what I mean? Like actions speak louder than words, you know? I don't know.
Well, even some genuinely pure spiritual leaders, though, they, you know, like for Patriji, for instance, who just passed away. He was a big spiritual leader with the pyramid movement in India. He just passed away in the past month. But he would preach to his, you know, his followers that not to look at me like I'm a god. Don't treat me like he would constantly preach to people about that, but they would still see him and flock to him and kiss his feet and treat him like he was a god, you know, until the day he died. And they still do to this day. So, but that's not what his message was supposed to be, you know?
Exactly. So many things get really blown out of proportion and convoluted. But I think if we just step back for a second and realize we are our own guru.
Yes.
If we just learn to go within, like you're all doing, and just take that moment and realize we came here with all of the knowledge that we need. We just, it's peeling back the orange, peeling back all the layers to get to that, but we are our own guru.
Yes. And that's, we definitely need to tap into that. And that's what, even the power of mediumship, there's, like I told you, I got into that. That was one of the most healing things that I got into. And I remember I didn't want to practice it on people that were anticipating something profound coming from me. I didn't want to feel that pressure. So I practiced on pictures. And the very first picture reading I got, it was an animal came through, and it was a black lab. And then I heard the name teddy bear, and then I smelled Vicks Vapor Rub, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't even want to tell her what's coming through, but everything that comes through, it comes through for a reason. So I said, I saw a black lab. I heard the name teddy bear. I smelled Vicks Vapor Rub. And she said, oh my God, I had a black lab who passed away. And he sat on my lap all the time. So I called him my 100-pound teddy bear, and he had a leaf leg, and the vet told me to put Vicks Vapor Rub on it. And that was like the most profound moment of my life. I was like, oh, no shit. I knew what was coming through, but I was like, oh my God, this is really true. You can't make this stuff up. It's not like grandma's here and she loves you. It's things that nobody else would know. But we all have that power to tap into it and to use that information to help ourselves in our lives, not only others, but to help ourselves,
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, Charlie, you're muted. And welcome back, by the way.
Yes. Welcome back.
Yes, well, yeah, no wonder I've been quiet.
You don't.
A question I had for you, you two guys seem really well connected, and so I have to ask this question. Have you guys ever done past life regressions, or do you feel like you have been connected in prior lives?
Do you want to answer that?
In prior lives? Yeah, I think so. I would imagine so. We're connected, but it takes a lot of work, man. I got to tell you something. Like April says, this is therapy, and man, you're putting me on the spot, aren't you? It's like, but it takes a lot of therapy. We, like any relationship. I mean, we go through our stuff. We met as business people first, and now then it went into a personal relationship from there. So you get all along with there. But we got a synergy. We are pretty blessed to have a synergy, whether that's past, present, whatever that is. We've all, even through whatever ups and downs as far as anything, we're in a rhythm together. We're good.
That's cool.
We get in a rhythm together. We're able to identify that part of it.
Personally,
What do you think?
absolutely. We have past lives. It goes back long, like ancient. But what you see today, Charlie, this took a lot of work. A lot of work. It wasn't always this way. We, Jake went through his stuff. I went through my stuff. We went through our stuff together. And there were days of, I hate you, you hate me, and it's done. I don't want to see you ever again. But our love is so strong, and our connection is so strong. And it was either we're going to, twin flames have very interesting relationships. We are twin flames.
Yeah, they light your fire in more way than one, I like to say.
Right. Probably the most difficult relationship. But here's the good news for all you twin flamers out there. Once you do get through both of your stuff, both of yours BS, and you come to center and you realize, you know what, either we're going to kill each other or we're going to leave each other. Which one do you prefer? Well, I don't want to leave you and I don't want to kill you. So let's try to figure this out.
Oh, that's a tough one.
When you get to that point and you have this major breakthrough and you realize things that used to tick you off shouldn't be ticking you off because it's like stupid stuff anyway, which, took us a very long time to get to that point. But when you finally do get to that point, the whole world opens up. It's like a whole different world. And I'm just very grateful that we both had the fortitude and the love to be able to push through it to get to this point.
And a lot of it is really just respecting the so much of it is really letting go of the ego. It really is. It's like, I'm the guy, you're the, and all that stuff, I'm the girl, whatever, like all that comes along with that. So much of it is that, well, I know this better than, then again, we met, like I said, as business partners first. So April had her own business. I had my own business. Independent of each other. So it wasn't like we're like, hey, let's start this thing up and see what we do. She's making her own money, I'm making my own money, and we came together. So there's a legit clash of the titans in some sense there, right? So we both had to manage our own egos, and that ran for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, so the best thing though, is to realize, hey, what are our strengths and what are we doing? We just, you work it out. You work it out, or you get out. We decided to work it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had to
Well,
ask the question.
Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
No, I was just going to relate my own experience with past life regression in that regard. Lisa learned mediumship up at Lilydale, which is a spiritualist retreat center in upstate New York. And Carol, my significant other, and I were up there about, I bet it was 15, 17 years ago when we had just first met. And we took a past life regression class with Kevin Ryerson, who was sort of the medium for Shirley MacLaine. And so we did this, and we both came out of the past life regression. And she said, well, what did you experience? And I said, well, we were Native Americans and we were married in a past life. And she said, oh, that's too freaky. That's what I got too. So, we knew, and we had not known each other for very long, but we were apart for a while. We're back. We were married for a while. Now we're not, but we're back together, and it's working out great. But I just know now in my own mind that we are here to help each other, meaning Carol and I, as well as the world. So it's pretty profound experience for me.
Congratulations. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
But light workers also, especially now in this time period, we're getting sabotaged as well spiritually, especially couples. If there's a power couple together like you two, who are both promoting the truth and awakening the world to their powers, you're going to get sabotaged constantly, and pulled into those dark areas of your life and have to fight your way back out of them. So kudos to you both for doing all that work, because you're not only doing it for yourselves, you're doing it for everybody else too.
Yeah. We get April's the one that goes down the rabbit hole, right? And so that's her thing. But it keeps it entertaining. At least we explore, and then we get the balance, and then maybe I tend to look at things pragmatically, sometimes a little bit too much, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a good balance. You need those opposites too, I think, to balance each other off. I'm the same way. I'm Lisa's more right brain, I'm more left brain, and so it all kind of works. So but you certainly need both sides of the brain working, and both of those to really come up with a complete kind of unified consciousness, and approach. So
Yeah.
Agreed.
are there specific areas right now that you're focusing on in your shows? Or are you still, are you just, are there hot topics for you is what I'm thinking, fake history, or, whatever it might be? Or is there something that's really floating your boat right now?
We cover so many topics. I can't say there's any one particular, because it's interesting. We're kind of like on right on the fence, because we cover a lot of the truther stuff, and we cover a lot of the spirituality, the spiritual
Exactly.
stuff.
Well,
And I love the balance of the both of them, because I think they're both equally important. And if there's anything that I feel like, oh my gosh, that's like, if I'm looking for guests or people to come on the show, it's usually because it's something that I'm sending out. Like, I want to know more about X, Y, or Z. And the next thing you know, the universe says, well, here, I'm bringing forward to you X, Y, and Z. And that's really how it happens. It's not anything particular in one area. It's just whatever my thoughts are, and what we're both wanting to have more knowledge in.
For me, I'm looking at it I look at it like what I'm attracted to at this minute right now is just about what do we got to do to just have everybody, we know stuff, we all hope and pray things are going to happen and whatever like that, but what do we got to do to get to people to step up, level up, have a better existence in their life? Because I personally believe if everybody feels good, then law of logic is going to say that the world is just better, right? So just what do you got to do to get them their spirit high? We coined a phrase called the 5D economy, which is what we call it, and that's literally by helping people become abundant. You know what I mean? And really
helping other people become
abundant. So we're like, hey, let's really kind of get in that rhythm of it. Okay, let's get in that rhythm instead of just sitting there watching let's take a look at action steps for people. So we want to bring people, for me personally, I mean, this is my personal, people have a different view, but me personally, I'm pretty attracted to those messages, like, hey, this is, boom, here's how you do it, here's how you work through this stuff, give me an action step, give me that. And that's me.
You know what? It's interesting now. I think back, Charlie, and the question you just asked. When we first launched the show 10 years ago, it was really interesting because we at that time would have on guests that we thought were completely outlandish. Like, I'll give you an example: walk-ins, aliens, Palladians, and this one spoke to that one, this one's an incarnation of that, this one's an incarnation of that one. And 10 years ago, that was kind of outlandish thinking, but
yeah,
nowadays it's not.
It's like reporting on current events.
It's like now, right? So, which is really, really interesting. And for the past 2 years, we were reporting on what we'll call them current events. But now I think we're really shifting into a different paradigm where, okay, we learned about everything that was going on, right? How we had the blinders on and the veil, and now the veil has been lifted. And we learned all about that. But now what do we do about it? And I think now the paradigm is what Jay is referring to is actions speak louder than words. Now it's time to get it going. Let's get this moving. Let's get this party started. Let's create. It's one thing talking about this new world, but how are you going to get there if you don't create it? Right? We got to create it. And how do you do that? Well, it starts at home. You got to fix your own stuff first. You got to fix. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, well, when this happens, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. No, it's not. It's only going to happen if you make it happen. And how are you going to make it happen? Well, you got to start fixing your own stuff first.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest ways for people to start fixing everything in their life is to start purifying their body, because we are intentionally bombarded from every avenue. That alone should show you how powerful we really are, because they have to bombard us with poison, not just from one avenue, but from literally every avenue. The injections they give us, the medical treatments they give us, the air that we breathe is poison, the food that we eat is poisoned, everything, it's just one thing after another. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the Asea product that you guys really promote. And you don't just promote it, you guys actually experience the power of it. And that's what I really love is, we need to share our own truths, and we need to try things and share our experience and our own truths with others to figure out what the real truth is.
You're right.
Absolutely.
We 9 months ago, we went on a search, and we're always like a lot of people, you want to live younger, longer, you want to feel better, you want to feel tapped. And I believe inherently people know that there is a better way. There really is a better way. It's like, how do you fight? And always it's the proverbial, well, like, how hard do I want to fight for it? And what's the avenues for it? So what we did when we came into Asea, and I just blue and white is what I call it. When we came into the Asea, we noticed very differently. The reason we decided to give it a go, and again, with the show for 10 years, everybody sends us everything, right? So we do get we've had the privilege to try and the gratitude to try a lot of cool stuff, but we know it is what it is, right? We came onto that and said, okay, let's give this a go, because we realized, okay, this is not another lotion, potion, or shake. So we knew that. And then we said, okay, well, we knew that this is going to deal with us at a cellular level. And we knew that we were not taking anything, nor was there anything that we're aware of that is dealing with anything at a cellular level that's getting the cells to start to talk to each other. So we gave this a go. We actually went and met with the medical board of this stuff. And we went like, okay, let's really look at this. And then, so we realized, okay, this is starting to, this has the opportunity to really get everything back together. People were talking about this concept of med beds and things. And we're like, maybe is this it? I don't know. So we started taking it. And so my personal thing, I took it in a way of saying, okay, well, look, I'm 51, right? And I just kind of want to feel, if I can maintain this for a minute, that would be pretty cool, right? Now, here's what happened. So now I can say this, is that, I'm literally 51, but I feel like I'm in the body of a 20-year-old. I feel like I have a brand new version of me. I feel stronger. I feel smarter. We have multiple businesses. I'm on point. My connection to my source is off the chart. The things that caused me discomfort no longer cause. I mean, we're running, we work out, we do physical stuff, and they don't cause discomfort anymore. I literally can say that I'm living younger longer. We're 9 months into this journey.
And it's a journey.
But
too.
April put a picture of us 10 years ago
Mhm. On Facebook recently.
next to what we look like now, and we look younger now.
Mhm.
We absolutely look younger now. And then the cool thing about it, which is more important, is we had, our blood work done and everything like that. I mean,
Oh,
inside
great.
you're younger. You're absolutely younger. So we found out, and we really, from a spiritual movement, I really feel like we got with this Asea. And look, it's kind of hard for people to wrap their head around this one. Like, hey, you know what? I'm holding the breakthrough of humanity, and that's kind of a hard thing for people to wrap their head around. But we are, and the possibility does exist, and for us it does. And so we've had the privilege, because of the show, to experience it and share it with people, and hundreds of people within a very short period of time of just like in tears and just joy. I mean, okay, to the point
You wouldn't believe the messages
you would
he gets.
you would be shocked at the messages of like, I can't
Oh,
believe
yeah.
it. I mean, my mother's awake. They had this, we can't talk medical terms, but they had this going on. Now they don't. They have this going on. Now they don't. They have this going on. Now they don't. They have the big C word. Now they don't. I mean, one after another. It's because the cells are starting to communicate. What happens is that if you visualize if we're born in this lifetime and we have one tank of gas, right? Whatever one believes in, God says, okay, you have one tank of gas, give it a go, use it well. So what happens is after puberty, that tank of gas starts to go down. This is and I'm not a scientist, but I'll kind of give you what I understand it as. Is that the tank of gas goes down, which is where the aging effect starts coming in. So for example, if I'm 10 years old, if I fall off a bike, all right, I'll dust it off. If I'm 50 years old, I fall off a bike, it's not going to be a dust off experience. If I'm 70, 80 years old, it's really not going to be a dust off experience. What this does is it puts gas back in the engine again. So what we were also able to determine is that 100% of the people, everybody with a cell needs something like this. This is why we're out there like this. It's not another vitamin, even though it's categorized as supplement because it's got to fall under, because of the regulation, someplace, I guess. It's not. It's on a shelf of its own. It's on a category of its own. So, every living thing, we give it to our animals. My mother, she's 82, has been in depression and in just chronic pain relief forever. I mean, I cannot remember her.
She's like a different person.
In a life without that. Within 2 months, I don't recognize my own mother. No, nothing. I mean, no discomfort. I mean, she's in a rehab right now because she had elective surgery. She feels like she's in a resort. This is how she acts. She doesn't have that. She's like, whatever. She's so happy. The lights turned on. This is what's happening. So we're such a big proponent about this for that reason. Obviously, most importantly, though, it's raising the consciousness. It really is.
Calcifying your pineal gland.
Yeah. Everybody's just raising. The vibrations are just off the charts for people. I believe this is where the collective consciousness is we're about to experience. I think something like this.
Yes, it's a kickstart. It's that spark that it is needed to light the fire, to ignite the rest of the fire, for them to go on this journey, to have the energy to even go on this journey, because everybody is so lethargic lately. I mean, even just not only the poisons I mentioned earlier, but the electric frequencies in the environment, they just keep getting bigger and bigger, more and more. We're like swimming in a soup of them every day. So things like this is what we need. We need that energy and that motivation. So it's nice that you shared that. Thank you so much. How much does something like that cost? How much does it cost?
It depends. I mean, it's really depends on where they get it from. Generally, what happens is how we take it is so there's a bottle, right? Okay. So you want to take at least 4 of these bottles, 4 to 8 bottles. Okay. So, if you got
it's not something you want to just try.
Right. It's not something you want to just try.
It doesn't work like that. It's not like an aspirin.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a real energetic experience. As far as cost factors go, if there's retail and there's wholesale, if you get like a case of this on the retail side, it's like about $160 per person a month. If you get it in wholesale, you can get as low as $130. You can even get it for free. There's ways to get it for free for people too. They have a
nice.
that pay it forward place like this. One of the things that's important to really recognize when people explore it is there's no nutrients to this. So it's not like, if you're taking your vitamins, you're taking your medicines, you're taking your supplements, keep taking it. Good luck with that. Have it do its thing. This will supercharge it. It'll make it about 1,000 times better.
It does not interact with any type of medication. It does not interact with any type of supplements. Now, what it will do is it will, chances are, enhance your supplements. And what a lot of people say that we're on medications, Jay and I aren't on it, we have not on any medications, but what we're finding with a lot of people, they're telling us that when they go back for their checkups, the doctors are reducing the amount of the medication that they were taking because their body just doesn't need that much.
Doesn't need it. Sure.
It's
It
just
sounds like it's making you more electrical inside,
It does,
because I know when
because I feel like the lights got turned on.
it's pretty wild. It's like there's something that happens, and it's a constant new version of you. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like literally, I mean, like the concept of a walk-in. I know who I am. I'm just saying, but I feel like there's a new. I feel like, okay, I'm in a new body today. What's that feel like? Let's give this one a go. It's like that. And and it's not just about pain relief. It's not just about it's an experience. It really is.
I'm 55, Jay's 51, and we are literally in the best mental, physical, spiritual, and prosperity, abundance of our entire lives. And I would, it's funny, videos don't lie. So you can go back and watch our videos, even from 9 months ago, 3 months ago, even a month ago, and you can literally see the visual transformation in us. But what's funny is people send us messages and they're like, I notice you two don't bicker on air anymore. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, well, you're right. We really don't, because we don't get triggered anymore. And if we do get triggered, it's like you squash it really, 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 really fast, because it just doesn't phase you. You don't react to the way you used to react anymore.
Yeah.
So something that, again, I'm not a scientist or a biologist, but there's something that it does within the brain that allows you to just become a better, younger, healthier version of yourself. So it's kind of like makes your ego take a step back, sitting back.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Now is back on the shelf back here, and your spirit self, your higher self, is like in the forefront now.
Every
which is awesome.
because of Spiritually Raw, we talk to a lot of psychics and spiritual healers. One after another have come to us consistently. This is just the weirdest thing in the world. I mean, to feel like I'm like, even when I'm talking about it right now, I'm like, oh man, it's wild. It's like I'm talking like this, but they come to us and they say, because of this, their readings are at they're so much better for their clients, and it's opened something up. And to the point that look, if you would have asked us in January 2022, like, even if we would, we were so like, I'm not talking about stuff on our show. I don't want to do it, right? But once you take it, you'll realize and you feel it, like, okay, you just got you're an obligation. You're an asshole if you don't talk about this to people. If you know what I mean. If if this technology exists and you don't share it with people, and you have an ability to share it, that's not a cool thing to do. That's why we do what we do,
Yeah. And I love hearing the testimonials, because, and everybody is tired of being lied to. We have been lied from all aspects of life, and people can see that now. They're tired of getting the wool pulled over their eyes. And so the testimonials are a big part of that, and just imagine if everybody could put their ego aside, instead of focusing their energy on, oh, that triggered me, I'm just going to put my anger towards 100 comments on this post right now, instead of manifesting your own reality and focusing on the good things of your life. I mean, just that alone could heal the world, having people push their egos aside,
Absolutely. Well, it's funny that you say that, because and this is sounds like such an insane thing to say, but we really believe this crazy little blue bottle has the ability to alter the course of humanity, because what it's doing is it's raising everybody's frequency. It's raising your vibration. And when you feel good, you're happy.
Yeah.
And you feel good and you're happy, you create prosperity. And when you feel good and you're happy and you create prosperity, what are you bitching about?
Yeah. That's why I was saying it sounds to me like it's making you more electrical, because I studied pulse electrical magnetic therapy, And certain frequencies will make your cell walls more permeable, which allows the gunk, the toxins and stuff to are removed from the cells, but it also helps the cells absorb more nutrients in the body and make them more receptive to the good things. So that alone will increase the energy. And that sounds like that's what it's doing as well on another level.
Doing something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What it
What
does,
does the manufacturer say is the, I mean, I hate to use kind of traditional terms, active ingredients or what have you, because I know it's all energy, but if it's not supplements, then, you know, for those of us like trying to explain how a pyramid works, I've kind of figured out how to do that. It's an interplay of the field with geometry and mathematics and so forth. But how do you explain, or what do you think the method is for how this works?
So I'll give you the best I got. So we actually,
Yeah, that's all we can do.
we actually flew to the factory, but so there's two ingredients, salt and water. Salt and water. That's all that's in here. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
When it goes through its process of stabilization, which is amplifying the signaling between the cells, it's no longer salt and water. It's whatever their patented process. Now, the way it was kind of put into perspective like that, if you look at the word spiritually, for example, and you said, okay, well, let me make as many words of that as I can. Okay, so that's spiritually, right? But in there, for example, spirit and the word all, even though they're in the same together, when you take them apart from each other, they're two different things now. You know, they're not the same thing. So that's just because salt and water go in, it doesn't mean that's what it can end out. It ends up as something different. And what that is the ability, it's something called redox that's stabilizing the molecules and getting them to talk to each other.
it's a 3-day process that it goes through. And
Well, just knowing the ingredients, now I know both water and salt are crystals. So that automatically tells me that if it is energetically programmed properly through some technique, that it's going to do wonderful things inside the body. Yeah.
And speaking of energy, they're so good. How you
That's what I was just about to say.
the employees, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Two things actually. The first thing I was just going to say was this company, they're very, very conservative, and they also obviously understand energy, and they know when somebody is at work and they're not happy, that's going to get infused into the product. So they do not hold it against any of their employees. They actually encourage the employees, if they're not feeling well or if they're not having a good day, exit
With pay.
Go home with pay, come back tomorrow when you're feeling better, because they don't want that energy infused with any of the ingredients.
I did that with my employees too, making the energy tools, the accessories, you know, the capstones and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. And you two will really appreciate this. They were offered more than once many billions of dollars by Big Pharma. But what Big Pharma wanted to do, they didn't want to take it over and get it out to the world. Big Pharma wanted to purchase it to remove it from us.
Sure.
And they turned it down more than one time.
Of course. So you said it was made with salt. And so I make a product called Ormus. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. It's actually a superconductor of energy. And I just did this batch, and you can kind of see the Ormus elements from the salt, because that's all I make it with is salt water. And then you have to add a mixture of lye for the Ormus elements to fall out. And then you wash it. So I would siphon off all the water and just, you can't get the effects of it right now, but it's like a cloud floating in there.
Neat.
See a cloud a little bit. Yeah.
But you siphon off all the water, pour more distilled water in there, shake it, and that's called washing. And you do that several times to get the remnants of the lye out of it. But it's mainly just Ormus elements have, they say, one leg in the spiritual world and one leg in the physical world.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So it sounds like the same stuff, you know, the Asea.
It really is wild. And you know, it's interesting. They have there was two components. Obviously, the Asea drink, and we take what's called 8 ounces a day. For those of your viewers that are watching, we take what's called the Magic 8. It's 4 ounces, and then 4 ounces later on in the day. It's called the Magic 8. That's the thing that electrifies your world, rocks your world, and lets you feel like you got touched by the hand of God. Right? That's that thing. This right here. So while
Upside
that's doing its thing, it's like getting the cells to do its thing. This is the instant gratification version of it. It's called Renew 28. So it's everything that's at, except it works from the outside in, and where that works from the inside out. And so eventually they intersect, and then you get this brand new version of yourself, right? But this right here though is instant. So people are going to start, like what April's doing, they're going to start noticing right away. They're going to start noticing the tightness. And even like if someone has discomfort, a shoulder, whatever, you know, the pain world, and they said this to us, and I didn't believe it. But they said, look, rub this on whatever area you have discomfort. Rub it on whatever area bothers you 3 times in 5 minutes. Rate your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10. See where it's at, and then after you take this, rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. See where you're at. So I was like, whatever. So I'm using that a lot mainly, and then I'm running. And probably about a couple of months ago, I was like, well, let me give this one a go and really test that one, right? So I did that. My pain level in my foot was probably about an 8 or so, because I had to take my shoe off. I was like, man, this really, really hurts. So I'm like, let me give this little test to go. This 3 times in 5 minutes. I put it on 3 times in 5 minutes, just like they said. And probably about 8 minutes later, I didn't even think about it, but then when I did think about it, 8 minutes later, my pain level was at an absolute 0. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. So now, would this be an alternative for people who don't want to use CBD, for example, for pain?
I can't really say it's an alternative. I was a huge fan of CBD, and I still actually like CBD. I don't take near as much of it as I used to, because my body doesn't need it. It's interesting because this is not a supplement, it's not a vitamin, it's not a pill, it's not a lotion or a shake. It's truly in its own category. So if somebody's using CBD, you don't really say to replace it, although it absolutely could, but it could also help enhance the CBD that you're already using.
So what's happening is it's bringing the body back to its homeostasis,
right.
You know what I mean? So its natural ability to be able to heal on its own. That's what's happening. So we were taking 7, 8 supplements, was it?
Yeah.
And then we weren't. And
Right.
body kind of got to its thing, and it wasn't like we were like, okay, now we can stop. You just forget about it because you feel so good.
Well, the other thing too is though, where CBD isn't, this is radical cellular rejuvenation. That's the difference. So this is radical rejuvenation, cellular rejuvenation for the inside, and this is radical cellular rejuvenation for the outside.
That's awesome. So I'm telling you, it reminds me of the Ormus elements for the superconductivity. You guys will need to look into that, because I don't take this internally because I do add lye to it, and I don't have any equipment to test, that afterwards. But you can use it to grow your plants, and it makes your plants more nutritious. It creates a higher yield. There was actually a woman who put some in her lotion, her hand lotion, and her cat, who had lost the tip of its tail, started licking her hand lotion, and it regrew its tail. Like, there's all kinds of testimonials. So it's like it's adding more light to your light body. It's activating your light body, just like the Asea.
That's what you say, like it's taken, how you say, like a carbon-based?
Carbon-based,
Yeah.
like my whole body feels, used to feel very, even though I'm not heavy, it would feel dense. But my whole internal, everything is shifted where I literally feel physically lighter. My pound on the scale is exactly the same weight, but I feel much lighter. Like I feel like I've walked into or stepped out of the carbon-based earth suit and stepped into the light body suit. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Now, now that we've talked about this for a while, where can people get this product if they're interested?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. There's you're really awesome, and thank you again for letting us share this. So with a link will be below where you keep it, but then what we encourage is this, okay, because of the fact that it's not another nutrient, and the worst thing that can happen is that people just grab it off the shelf and treat it like another supplement, because that just doesn't end well. They're going to look at it and be like, okay, well, I just wasted my money again. There's an experience. What we have a phone number that contacts us directly. We recommend people, they'll go to the link, we'll walk them through it, but we recommend when they go through it to call the number, because one of us usually, or someone on our team will help walk them through it and help answer any questions they got, because again, it is an experience. that they're about to go through, make sure they got the right thing. So they call the numbers the best thing to do, and then we'll get on the link with them together and show them the different scenarios that are available.
Everybody's situation is different. Like for us, it was more health and wellness. We really didn't have any health issues. We just wanted to improve our lifestyle.
Better, yeah.
A lot of people that have serious issues that
They may, they
they
gotta.
may need to take more of it or a different,
It's really
other
wild. I mean, if you
options.
think about it from a supplemental point of view, there's this, because of the experience of this, after they get it, it doesn't end there. There's calls where you have medical doctors that are there to help support it. Okay, what am I going through? Okay, now I feel like this is getting better. Now what do I do? I mean, there's constant after service, if you would. It's not just buy this and give it a go and good luck.
pat you on the back.
There's constant, I mean, it's like almost every day there's like researches where people can tap into, okay, I'm feeling this starting to get better. This is starting to open up. Why am I seeing clearer? Why don't I have this anymore? How I have this, what should I do about it? They can ask doctors questions. I mean, it's really that in depth. It's like next level, if you would, holistic.
Sure.
Yeah.
All
And
of it.
people are tired. People are tired of being sick and tired, so they're
yeah.
looking for other
Oh, yeah,
alternatives.
yeah. I have a theory, having written this book on sacred geometry, that the coherence of our field is really the key to health. And so, Lisa's, starting to learn the biowell, and we're going to start testing that because we can test the coherence of people's energy fields with this device. So I can't wait, for us to really be able to get into testing, because if that thesis is right, then I can begin to explain health through coherence, and we can find coherence maybe through geometry. We might be able to find it through frequency. We can find, any number of things that may assist in that. So I think it's fascinating journey that we're going to all be going on here as we, begin to awaken in so many different ways and rediscover these truths. So, it's going to be an exciting journey.
I think it's the greatest time to be alive. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world right now. This is the best ride of our lives.
Yep.
Well, it is. And, I'm having the time of my life. And just like you guys, if you look at pictures of me from 10 years ago, I'm about 100 pounds heavier and I look old and it's just horrible,
Wow.
losing a little hair up here, but not very many wrinkles, So, and the tragedy is the people we used to run around with 10 years ago who were like similarly situated physically, Carol was never overweight, but I was. And so they're all going into nursing homes or continuing care facilities now. I mean, I am that old. So, it's kind of sad because our age group of friends is a lot younger than we are now, because our crowd, that they are mostly kind of, lost causes health-wise. I mean, they're into the system and they're not coming back out.
They're not
Right.
coming. They're in the
Right.
system and they're not coming back out. And then I think
Yes.
that's the choices that people will start to make. And
It's a choice. And, that's why we want people like you on. I don't care how you get to this point, whether you're using pyramids or any other products, but just know that there are alternatives out there, and whatever resonates with you, try it, because none of us are getting wealthy like Pfizer or Moderna off of advocating these products. And that's what people need to know. We're doing this to make a living, number one, and being prosperous, but we're doing it primarily to help people. At least that's my motivation, and I'm sure it is yours as well.
100%. The financial abundance is just a great big bonus.
That's right. Exactly.
Helping others and feeling great and sharing with others and people that you love. You want everyone else to feel just as great as you do. And
Yeah.
that's our motivation.
yeah, you're not taking any of it with you. I mean, enjoy it and do it with people you love, and
Exactly.
and you meet along the way, and just have a great time and enjoy this place.
Experience.
This place we
Yeah.
dropped ourselves into.
Well, I was out earlier, so I may have missed this. Have you guys written any books? Do you have any plans on writing any books? Anything like that?
Well,
Well,
It's always a possibility, but we do have a course actually. It's called
Okay.
Spiritually Raw Secrets to Interview and Broadcasting Riches. It's also for anybody that's interested that either they want to start a show and they don't really know how to start, or they have a show, but they're having trouble picking up traction. So that's on our website as well. If anybody's interested, they can certainly check it out there.
But a book,
Yeah.
I would say for me, no.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I just,
I'm writing it.
It was rough sledding, let me tell you. So,
say never, I guess, never say.
yeah. I mean, now that I've done it once, it'd be a lot easier to do. And I plan on doing another one, but, it does add, I guess, some credibility to your resume, but the reality is, if I can't explain it to somebody in pretty simplistic terms, I've got all the math and the geometry and all that stuff in there for people who care. And I do sincerely care, because it's really helped me to understand that we live in a precise universe that takes our thought and creates our experience with it. And you can see we've got the geometry and the math that's being developed on how all that works. So that helps me to know that this is true. But, for others, they don't need that. So they just need pictures or whatever, videos, and that's fine. So however way you want to do it is fine. But you're doing a great job of getting this word out to the people and through your podcasts. And we're grateful to have you on with us today.
Thank you
It's
so
a real
much.
honor and privilege for you to, bring this into your world. Thank you very much for this.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Any last words? The links, if you want to find Jay and April, their links are going to be below the video, of course. What are your most social medias? What do you promote the most, I guess? How can they find you the best?
Thank you so much. We're on YouTube and Facebook, but the best way is to connect with us through our Telegram, because that's where the main hub, and I just kind of spread everything out from Telegram.
Okay.
And there are all the links are in the description below. I would like to just say one last thing, because people ask this all the time. They say, well, how can I raise my vibration? What can I do to raise my frequency? And very simply, start doing something every day that you absolutely love. It starts with that simple formula. Start doing something every day that makes you feel happy. And then just remove one thing a day that doesn't bring you happiness. If you make that tiny little shift in your life, you will create miracles very quickly.
So
Yeah.
I would say, you don't have to be great to start anything, but you have to start to be great. So just start.
Yes.
Give it a try. You know what I mean? There's a beautiful world out there. It really is. It's a beautiful world. It's not. It's not the way that a lot of times is depicted. It's there. Just work through it. Yeah, but give it a go.
Yeah.
What do you think is the key to your success with your podcast, though? Is it a philosophy? The reason I'm bringing this up, nobody knows, is I got new glasses last week, and I've had many eye surgeries because of a car accident when I was younger. But I had just this fantastic experience with the optometrist this time, new optometrist. But on the wall, he had a great saying, and I think it really, if you can do this, and that practice is so successful, it took me over a year to get an appointment. But it says they don't. Let me get this right. Nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. How's that? I like that. And that's that's like with your product. I think people know, just seeing you and listening to you, that you're out there because you care.
Yeah.
And you're promoting this because you care, not because of anything else. And I think that's really, really probably key as well to success. If you're serving others and you're trying to help others, I think the universe does respond. I totally believe that.
Totally agree.
We just want our soul sisters and brothers to have a better life, and because that just gives you a better life. It's just we're interconnected at some point. So I mean, it stands to reason that, don't make that person miserable consciously, because that, if we're interconnected at some point, then that has that effect on you. So just don't. Just, you know what I
It's
mean?
no fun being happy when everyone around you is miserable.
Exactly. So just, you know, do, I mean, that's how we, you know, that's how we just try to live. Just be very, you know, I tell you, this to answer your question, like, what do we attribute to the success of the show? It's,
We enjoy it.
we just love it. It's
It's
just,
There you go. There you,
it's
and
fun
it comes
for
a
out.
lot of fun. It's
Yeah.
not work. It's not, it just feels like it's therapy, you know, it's feel like therapy. We get a massive healing as we do it. So people are always like, hey, that's good. You know, it's always right back at you. You know, listen, you don't, you know, in that moment,
It
what
works both ways.
in that moment, what you've done for us, we can't express our gratitude enough for that too, when we're doing it.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Fantastic.
Well,
Hey.
lots of love and many blessings to
We look
you
forward to
both on this journey. I'm sure we're going to meet again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everybody, for being with us today. We'll see you next week.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Much love.
Are you through?